But back to politics, big news. The filibuster is on for Chuck Hagel, preventing him from becoming the Secretary of Defense during his time in Congress. The leading libertarian light there, now speaking at college campuses across the country, maybe one near you. Congressman Ron Paul joins us. Hey, Congressman.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
How are you enjoying your being out of the House of Representatives?
Absolutely. I am glad to have a different schedule and not be on the airplane quite so much.
And your son's getting a lot of attention, not just in the long-term 2016 speculation, but right now holding up the confirmation of John Brennan as director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Do you approve of what Senator Rand Paul is doing and holding up Brennan's nomination? I guess the main thing on his mind is the use of drones.
Yeah, I think anything that would call attention to that, and of course Brennan's position and his inability to even say one way or the other that the drones wouldn't be used against American citizens here. So yes, anything that can be brought to attention. You know, the numbers are against us and against Rand as far as maybe canceling all this out. But the more information out there, the better. I think this whole drone operation throughout the world and the potential here in this country is one of the most serious threats that we have.
So that's on drones. Is that an issue of constitutional, empowerment of the executive branch? What exactly is your beef about the drone use?
Well, I think it is constitutional. One of the reasons we had a revolution and wrote a constitution was minimize the executive branch. We didn't want a king. We didn't want the executive branch making decisions. We didn't want the executive branch going to war without permission of the people through the Congress. And I think drone strikes are an act of war. And if they and we're doing this constantly. Both administrations have done it, and now they're talking about using drones here in the United States. And there was, the drone actually was used to kill a Laki in Yemen, and so we've already assassinated several American citizens without due process.
What about going to from the CIA nominee to the Secretary of Defense nominee, Chuck Hagel, now clear the Republicans are filibustering? How do you stand about something like that? Do you think of the filibuster as obstructionism? Do you see it as the only last desperate grasp to accomplish something righteous? How do you view this?
Well, I think the filibuster is good because it gives the minority a position. Freedom is supposed to protect the minority viewpoint and not be dominated by just the dictatorship of the majority. But in this circumstance, I'm not all that excited about piling on Hagel. I don't see, and there's a mixed bag there because, the people who are most opposed to that are the neoconservatives who are the biggest champions of war. So they're the ones who want to, filibuster and try to prevent his nomination.
And you see that is that anti-constitutional? You mentioned how you have to protect the rights of the minority, but is this the tyranny of the minority?
No, I wouldn't think so. It's supposed to move slowly. We don't want it to move quickly. The president has stated, when the Congress doesn't respond quickly enough with regulations or legislation, he says, I'll write an executive order. So no, we shouldn't be fearful of gridlock. We should be fearful of the reasons for gridlock. If they want to do harm, that's a different story. But the principle of slowing up the process and not allowing the executive branch or the judicial branch to march over the people and do it without representation and with the Congress acting on their responsibilities.
Well, you said you're conflicted, though. Are you suggesting that former Congressman Ron Paul endorses Chuck Hagel as Secretary of Defense?
Well, I don't endorse him because I was never in the Senate, but I would probably vote for him. But I see some shortcomings in that although he speaks a better language, he was accused of not being patriotic and supportive of the military enough. And, and the people who do the most of the criticizing never spent a day in the military. And here he was in Vietnam and was exposed to danger and was awarded a lot of citations, and they're telling him that he's less than patriotic because of this, and because he might have said something that would have sounded like he wants to work more toward negotiations and peace rather than unleashing bombs and occupations. I think that is what the superficial issue is. But the downside is that if he's in office, he's not going, and since he represents that viewpoint, and the progressive wing and libertarians tend to dislike that idea. But if Hagel's in, and then the establishment politicians and the president wants to do something, and Hagel supports it, it sort of neutralizes the opposition. So that's why there's a mixed bag.
So mixed bag on Hagel. We know the filibuster is on. Congressman Ron Paul, you're always a delight to have on the program. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. What are you thinking, folks? Pro or con? Go Mark.